Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a brand new TW9 video. You join us for another episode of Dynamite, followed of course by Rampage, Collision and Shockwave. We've had the Stinger Tribute Show in the books and we are now on the road to Double or Nothing, which I'm quite excited for. There's a few things that were kind of set up at the show last Saturday, and hopefully we can have a really good show then. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, it's been a wee bit of time since I last booked it. Obviously, videos go up every 3 days, but I do take like breaks between. So I'm hoping everything makes sense. I think I booked like 90% of this show, and then like had just a few things I had to do. So I was like a week before I get back to TW. So hopefully I can get back on the booking wagon as it was, and yeah, can hopefully just get a good bit of momentum. It's coming up to a period of time when I'm going to get a lot of time off, so I'm hoping Double or Nothing, up to Double or Nothing, and into Blood and Guts is going to be spectacular. That's the plan. And yeah, obviously we'll be finished our tournaments by then. But yeah, I've blathered on enough. I think we're here for some TW, so let's crack on and enjoy some Dynamite. So I thought it would be special to hold the show in Daly's place, and we start off with some tag team action. We have Team AEW. So if you saw the last episode, you know obviously Johnny Gargano's debuted, and Lee Moriarty turned babyface to alongside Johnny Gargano, Sami Zayn and Bryan Danielson. And of course, it's stable warfare. So of course you've still got the likes of the Bang Bang Gang written about this. So the Guns were their opponents. So it was about that some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Team AEW, Lee Moriarty and Johnny Gargano defeated the Guns in 10:54 when Gargano pinned Austin Gunn with a horse donuts. Gargano carried it in terms of in-ring performance. Overall though, pretty good stuff. The only real negative there being Lee Moriarty being a little bit stale, which is a shame because he's just turned babyface, so only tweak the gimmick a little bit. But a 71 is a good way to start the show. We then hear some words from Bryan Danielson, and alongside him was Sami Zayn. We also have in the background Johnny Gargano and Lee Moriarty, with the target of the promo being the Death Riders, Jon Moxley. Bryan says, last night the Death Riders tried to end the careers of myself, Sami, Johnny Gargano and our good friend Hechicero, who joined them. But thanks to this great young man, he's backed us up and we took the fight to them. As you saw alongside Johnny Gargano, Lee Moriarty, both of them, they weren't involved in this war. Both of them want to wrestle and both of them want to beat the best. They want to go up against the Death Riders, and what a great way to start off by beating the Guns from the Bang Bang Gang. Sami adds to this and says, and I want to continue this momentum, so I'm going to step forward and step up. We've battled before and we'll battle again, but I want Jon Moxley. I truly believe if we are to win this war, I must step up. So Jon Moxley, I want you at Double or Nothing. So a 69 for this segment. Storyline advances, Sami and Bryan are fantastic. Not so great from Johnny and Lee Moriarty, but it's not their strength. And a lot of good stuff there. But overall, it's basically trying to set up Sami v Moxley, and the rest of them will have matches at the pay-per-view as well. After an amazing opener, Excalibur then decides to run down the card for tonight. So what we will see tonight will be Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage. We'll see AJ Styles in action. We'll see a decider between Dr. Britt Baker, DMD and Chris Statlander in the Super Shine Cup in their group. In the Briscoe Cup, we'll see Aussie Open take on Top Flight. And your main event for the TNT Championship as the champion Daniel Garcia defends against El Toro Blanco Rush. So overall, a 50, just again letting all those people be advertised. We then have a remarkable Renee Paquette alongside Samoa Joe, and she says to Joe, Samoa Joe, welcome back to AEW. To which Joe says, thanks Renee. I hope that last night was a little warning shot to Takeshita, letting him remember and remind himself who Samoa Joe is and how dangerous I am. But I know your man Don Callis has a little trick up his sleeve, bringing in Brian Cage to face me tonight. That's fine. Bring it on, big man. I will slay Swoverine to the side before I take that International Championship from Takeshita. So at 72, obviously Joe had an appearance on the show teaming alongside Orange Cassidy, and he wants his hands on Takeshita. 72 for the promo, and the matchup has a decent wild brawl, and Samoa Joe defeats Brian Cage in 7:48 by pinfall. Sadly, I can see that horrible news, and I think that probably will be the end of Brian Cage's career. They've tried a Wild Brawl, and it has backfired massively. A badly herniated spinal disc is probably going to see him pretty much done. Wow. That's a bit of a bummer. A 62 for the segment. Obviously, we'll get a bit of idea of injury after the show. They had good chemistry together, lifted the match up. Joe looked good, but yeah, that's not good at all. That's a bad one. Next up, ahead of AJ Styles' debut match in AEW against Johnny TV, we see Kenny Omega join the commentary team and a bit to scout the 2025 AEW edition of the phenomenal AJ Styles. Segment was a 70, storyline advances and gains heat. Just a basic case of Kenny will says a few words on, just commenting on AJ during the matchup. As we build AJ up, give him a couple of matches before him and Kenny at the pay-per-view. Decent matchup, AJ defeats Johnny TV in 8:22 with a Styles clash. I think it was about an obvious victory, but you do need to build them up, and it was a 67. I think what's promising is, despite AJ's age, we were still able to get a 72 in terms of in-ring performance. Next up in the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group D, decent matchup saw Chris Statlander defeat Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, in 9:32 with the Area 451. So a 62 overall, 50 from Britt. She's still on that extremely poor run of form, but these two did have good chemistry, and Stat was able to bring a 70 rated performance and book her place at Double or Nothing in the finals. As I say, still to decide if it'll be a semi-final or if it'll just be a fatal 4-way. Let's see how it goes. We then have some words from Mercedes Moné. It's a disappointing 46. She has Camille and Sky Blue standing with her, and the subject of the promo is Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. This is an absolute travesty, the fact that if I even want to make it to Double or Nothing and the Shine final, I have to face both Shida and Toni Storm one more time. It's so unfair. Once again, the odds have been stacked against your CEO, Mercedes Moné, but together with Camille and Sky Blue, the Moné Corporation, we will form a plan and I will win this tournament, and you can bank on that. So 46, not fantastic, but going to hype up obviously next week. I think we'll have the matchup Mercedes Moné, Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida. The winner goes to the tournament finals at Double or Nothing because they all finished on 24 points. But we have to finish up some other group matches. Some will take place on this show, some will take place on Rampage and Shockwave, just to get them out of the way. Decent matchup, Saraya defeats Mayu Yamashita in 7:55 with a fallen object. Storytelling matchup. Saraya is awful in this, really off her game, penalised for poor form, but she is our talent, we need to work with that. And she was able to carry to a 63 segment. Hopefully, like Britt, we can get her out of the slump, but it's not looking good. Wow, I really thought this would help us, but not to be. So Will Ospreay is the subject of a promo from Adam Page. Hangman says Ospreay has decided he's the hero that AEW needs, apparently. Will Ospreay has forgot who the main man, the main character of AEW is. I've always stood up and be counted for AEW, whether it's good or bad. AEW got to this position thanks to me, and hell, I may have took it to a high level of extreme, but buddy, if you think you can step forward and apparently sort me out, stop me going apparently crazy, then good luck. You saw what I've done to Mick Foley, you saw what I've done to Darby Allin, imagine what the hell I'm going to do to you. And that was a 64 promo from Hangman Adam Page. We had a decent, great wrestling match, with a decent reaction from the crowd. Aussie Open defeat Top Flight in 13:23. KO Fletcher defeats Dante Martin with the Coriolis. Made it still the show, so I felt these two would work well together. Fletcher was head and shoulders above the rest. Dante was a weak link. And of course, that's a Group A matchup. So 77 overall. KO Fletcher win 87 there obviously gets a little bit of a boost because of the excellent chemistry between him and Mark Davis. But Aussie Open really kicking on. Good to see. Although I'm worrying we don't really have a great promo, so the main event has got to really go. Small promo from Rush. Tonight, Daniel Garcia, I will take your TNT Championship because if you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Whilst in the background, we just see Jake Roberts laughing hysterically. Just, he's got that evil laugh. So, setting up for obviously Rush versus Daniel Garcia. Why is Jake so confident? It remains to be seen. But that was a 57. And yeah, we're definitely losing pop here, but decent matchup as Rush defeats Daniel Garcia in 17:42 with the Rush driver following interference from MJF, meaning that Rush is the new TNT champion. So only a 67, they don't click, it makes it awkward, so I think this would have been a low 70s But the idea was Garcia v MGF has to be above the TNT Championship at this point. So I was going to put it on Zack Sabre Jr., and then I thought Rush is not great in terms of popularity. This is an opportunity to book Rush very, very strong, and then I can make Garcia and MGF just go very, very long. So MGF costs him the championship, Rush is champion, and after he picks up the win and is your new TNT champion, he gets out the ring and he leaves a fallen Daniel Garcia at the mercy of the sinister, the evil MGF. Do you think you could ever get away with what you did? Never. MGF just starts beating down, he starts hammering down on Garcia, lefts, rights, and before he hits him with a pile driver of his own, and he stands above Garcia as we fade to black. So sadly only a 52, which I'm really disappointed at, so we're losing pop. But I feel like for what we lost in terms of pop, we told stories. We really told stories. And overall, 65, we gained in 20 regions, we lost in 22. I gave him a lot of time, which is why Rush was on the show too much, and the storylines didn't really go too much apart from promos. But I feel it sets up a lot of stuff towards Double or Nothing, and I feel like I have to have those highs and lows just to get there. But yeah, promo-wise we weren't great, so that was always going to cost us. So I don't think it's going to show us. It'll be after Rampage. I'll find out the extent of the injury to Brian Cage, but I say I expect him to be done. We'll go open forum. Fumer Albus. Before I book this, I actually just want to check absences. So there you go. Brian Cage is going to be out until July 2026. He'll probably retire after that, and it's a high risk injury, so yeah, he's no chance. So we'll see what we can do with Brian Cage, but he's pretty much done. So anyway, I think we should probably book Rampage. We'll go for that, and we'll start Collision. So on to Rampage we went, and we really used the show just to kind of get to the closing stages of the Super Shine Grand Prix. We're at a stage now where I think most of the matches will take place on the episode of Collision you're about to see, and on Shockwave as well. There is one that will be delayed by 2 weeks. It will be the show just before Double or Nothing. It'll be that Shockwave. Basically, Ryo Mizunami has an injury. She's only one match to go, so it'll be her versus Mina Shirakawa on the 24th of May edition of Shockwave. But as for this one, we had a wee quick promo from Mercedes Moné talking about Camille and Sky Blue, what they're intending to do as the Moné Corporation. Camille defeated Soraya in a 50 rated matchup. They made two matches that suffered from lack of overness, as Takuma Roha defeated Gazelle Shaw, which was a 47. Taya Valkyrie defeated Misa Ruga, which was a 48. Before we had a decent bout that saw Megan Bayne defeat Arisa Nakajima, which was a 64. We then had some words from Megan Bayne and Taya Valkyrie just talking about how they're going to lead the stable forward, with Deonna Purrazzo obviously on pregnancy leave. And then we had a little segment between Orange Cassidy and Swerve Strickland. I know it was going to be a cheap rating to make sure never lost pop, so an 86 just shows them to work the crowd. And our main event saw Azumi defeat Maki Ito in a 57. So pretty standard stuff there. Getting the tournament there. There's sort of 4 or 5 matches to go. Let's crack on with Collision. So there's only 12 segments on this show. Pretty short one, but hopefully it should be decent nonetheless. We start off with a promo in the ring from Swerve Strickland. So last Sunday, Orange Cassidy, you pulled the trigger with the reveal of Samoa Joe as your tag team partner. Now, that did catch me off guard, but I realised that Joe is Takeshita's problem. We'll see what you've got to realise is I'm your problem. At Double or Nothing, you're in the ring with the most dangerous man in AEW, and there is no length I will not go to ensure I take back that AEW World Championship. Now you're good, I admit that, but you're not on Swerve's level, so you've got 2 weeks, boy. Get your game together. OC comes out, just stands at the top of the ramp and says, okay I guess, and gives a little thumbs up. That wee kind of half-arsed normal promo you get from OC. So the first part was a 65 by Swerve, an 81 from OC, storyline advances, lots of good stuff there, and a 73. I was hoping for a bit better, but we'll hope the matches can carry it. We started off with a match in Group C of the Briscoes Tag Team Cup. It was about to have some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as the Young Bucks defeated the Workhorsemen in 10-13 when Matthew Jackson pinned JD Drake with the Meltzer driver. Nick Jackson was head and shoulders above the rest, Overall, 70 for the wrestling, 76 for the segment. You can see they're just the Bucks with a very impressive performance as they pick up a well-needed 3 points, it must be said. We then had a decent Wales brawl that saw the grizzled young veterans back in action after James Drake returned from injury, and they defeated Alex Reynolds and John Silver in 7:45 when Gibson submitted Alex Reynolds with the Shankly Gates. This was also in Group C. So 55 for the wrestling, 39 for the crowd, 58 for the segment overall. It probably didn't go great for these two styles, but I had to make the Wild Brawl one of the matches. And yeah, this is the one I opted for. So the Grizzled Young Vets with 3 points on the return. We then catch up with Renee Paquette. She has saw the Young Bucks as they are in the back now after their win earlier tonight. She says, Matthew, Nicholas, a great win tonight, but I must ask, what's the situation with this AEW faction warfare and why aren't Elite getting involved? And then basically Nick Jackson replies, well, Renee, it's simple. We let the inmates fight in the asylum. We've got to concentrate in this tournament. Jack's out being a scapegoat after letting us down, so obviously he's away from the Elite now. And as for Kazu, I'm sure the Rainmaker's going to do just fine. So we do have a plan for the Rainmaker, but he's on the shelf at the moment. So a 75 for the promo from the Bucks alongside Renee Paquette. A bit more that, so it gives a wee bit more pressure off our main event, which is a lovely 6-man trios tag I'm looking forward to. Oh, that's going to hurt the tournament. We may see our first team having to give a bye to the opponent who are having to forfeit. Decent matchup. The MXM Collection defeated the Butcher and the Blade in 8:39 when Mason Madden pinned the Blade. Mansoor carried the match in terms of ring performance. So this was in Group B. You can see it there in red writing. The Butcher has stained a torn Achilles. That's not a good couple of nights for AEW. Him getting that will probably take him out for probably a good couple of months. Maybe even longer than that. And obviously we've lost Brian Cage for, well, he's pretty much done. I'm assuming he'll retire. So yeah, Brian Cage was going to be part of future plans. Butcher and Blade, maybe not so much, but a 54 overall. I'll need to figure out what we're going to do. And Mansoor gets a 65. And Mansoor got a bit of heat as well, because it's his mistake. Great. In Group A, and the Lucha Bros took on the Outrunners in a decent matchup, and they won in 6:22 when Penta pinned Truth Magnum with an assisted Fear Factor. This was storytelling. Ray Phoenix head and shoulders above the rest. I love how the fact that these can put on an easy squash match and like easily get a cap 70, even against the Outrunners. And I imagine by this point that the Ray Phoenix stuff is probably went absolutely out of proportion. But hey, I love the Lucha Bros. I enjoy watching them, so I'm going to keep booking them as long as I can, because we're going to see a lot of WWE people put them up here, and probably vice versa. Into the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group C. Decent matchup saw Masha Slamovich end her tournament with a win over Riho in 10:26 with a diving headbutt. It made these two steal the show. I was hoping they'd click a little bit better, but a 68 is still decent stuff. Obviously, we've got the handshake deal for Masha, but she's someone, yep, we're definitely going to pick up and properly invest in. So she is class. Another promo, Renee is making her money tonight. She speaks to Chris Statlander. She says, Chris, you're in the finals alongside Io Shirai, Jamie Hayter, and the winner of the triple threat match on Dynamite. Of course, that's Hikaru Shida, Toni Storm, and Mercedes Moné. How are you feeling ahead of this? I feel I've been able to showcase just how good I am. The matches have been great for my development in this tournament, and I truly believe this is the best version of Chris Statlander. Being in the ring with those two, and whoever may be the fourth, will only strive me to be at my very best to take the tournament home, or the Grand Prix home. Sounds very babyface promo, but I just wanted to, push the fact that the tournament's been a good thing. So 63, Renee looked good. We want to try and utilise Renee Paquette as much as we can. Also in Group C, Bout had some decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. Really just a case of finishing matches, as Queen Aminata defeats Fekla in 7:21 by pinfall. A 60 overall, yeah, which can only help with development of Queen Aminata. And in Group B, About had some decent wrestling, but not a lot of heat. Willow Nightingale picked up her final 3 points, defeating Alex Windsor in 9:10 by pinfall. So this concludes Group B, actually, and Jamie Hayter, we already knew she'd won it, but that just confirms that group is done and dusted. 59 overall. And our main event, About had some great wrestling and good heat. The Death Riders, the team of Pac, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, defeated Team AEW, Bryan Danielson, Sami Zayn and Lee Moriarty in 15:51 when Wheeler Yuta pinned Bryan Danielson following interference from John Mox. So I think this might have been capped at an 80 because it was only 15 minutes. I was struggling to give it more time. I wanted to go with the full 20 minutes, but there's a lot more matches on this card, so I had to pay victim to that. But an 80 should hopefully carry us to probably about a 76 given the Young Bucks promo. You can see in terms of in-ring performances, solid from everyone. Yuta with a 65, Moriarty with a 60, and I think they can only benefit in the future with these kind of matches. And Bryan's storyline has gained heat. I finished the show with some words from Wheeler Yuta. I've just proved to the world that I can beat Bryan Danielson, but this was in a trios match, so I'm going to lay this down simple, Bryan. Double or nothing. I want 60 minutes with you. Iron Man match. If I'm going to prove myself, that will be my moment. Yep, we're going for it. 60-minute Iron Man match. Wheeler Yuta, Bryan Danielson. Controversial, but as I say, I really want to push Yuta. And if you've been watching this series from the start and you see the first ever match I booked, it all makes sense what I said in that first episode. So we finish the show 77, the increased popularity in free regions. Because we don't have great coverage of Collision. I don't have it on the AEW network, but it shows that that's the kind of level we need to be hitting now, 77, 78 if we want to get to that next level. Especially dropping a few points with that last episode of Dynamite. So hopefully we can have a really strong shockwave. Speaking of which, locker room incidents, none. That what I'll quickly do, because we can. The Butcher, he's out for pretty much an exact year, but it's a low risk surgery, so I think we're actually going to perform that. You can see there about Ryo Mizunami's injury. It's a lot of long term injuries, Julia Hart, 3 people on maternity leave, and Julia Hart, Penelope Ford, and Ruby Soho. Ruby don't get back for 503, just the way it was edited in the database, and that's fine. As I say, might have some further in the line, might not. But spinal discs for Brian Cage and Danhausen, and then the short one there for Mizunami. Alright, I'll do the surgery tomorrow, that's fine, that's okay. So I'm going to go and book Shockwave. Let's see what goes down. So we dive into Shockwave at the First National Bank Arena in front of 7,436 fans. We start the show with the Acclaimed in action, and we get the usual rap because they're still together here from Anthony Bowens and Max Caster, and this got a 64, so good stuff with them working the crowd. And the opening contest in Group B was a decent matchup that saw the Acclaimed defeat Angelo Parker and Matt Menard in 7:08 when Anthony Bowens pinned Angelo Parker with the Arrival. So good stuff there for the Acclaimed. The wrestling's actually okay, the crowd not too much into it, but a 62 overall. I've made the decision what I'm going to do with the Butcher, so I can't make him forfeit if he's got more than one match. So he's going to be given, the Blade will get a replacement partner. I've got a rough idea. I'll hopefully introduce them on next week's shows. Nothing special. This one, sadly, only got a 41. Both teams were perceived to be pre-show workers, and it was a wild brawl, which probably didn't suit their styles, but I had to make it one match, and this was the one to suffer from it. In Group A, the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett defeat the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch, in 8:50 when Matt Taven pinned Vincent with the Hail Mary. Decent stuff there, actually a lot better from Dutch and Vincent, and sadly, just because of the styles, and that, it is a 41. Also, in Group A, we had a decent matchup that saw Top Flight pick up the win over the Outrunners in 7:26 when Dante Martin pinned Truth Magnum with the Red Eye. This was a storytelling match. I wasn't too sure if the styles would clash here, but I've got to say, 58 is not too bad, all things considered. And then we had a spectacular matchup that I was tempted to main event, didn't main event, and probably should have main evented. But about had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The Young Bucks defeat the Guns in 14:51 when Matt Jackson pinned Austin Gunn with the Meltzer Driver, TK Driver, whatever you wish to call it. Made this steal the show, and they did not disappoint. Group C sees a fantastic 74 wrestling match, 51 from the crowd, and an 81 segment overall. And you can see 89 and 83, the Bucks. Great performance. You'll love to see it. Then had a video documenting the history and careers of AJ Styles and Kenny Omega from their times in Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. These two will collide in just 2 weeks at Double or Nothing for the AEW Continental Championship. That was a 58. Storyline advances. Also a 58, sadly, was this promo, which saw Will Ospreay talking to Kyle Fletcher, with Mark Davis in the background and Adam Page being the subject of such promo. Will Ospreay starts by saying, guys, what a position you two are in. Just one win over the Outrunners and you could see yourself in the triple threat final of the Briscoes Cup. Just imagine you guys win that, then win the tag titles on top of the world title. You'd be on top of the world, lads. If I can speak. Kyle Fletcher replies, you're right, Will. We'll give it our best shot, but at the same time, we worry about you, man. Are you sure you're prepared for the levels that Hangman's going to stoop to? And he just replies, listen, Kyle, Mark, I appreciate the concern, but if I want to become the AEW World Champion, this is the risks I need to take. So a 58 promo there, not the best, but just testing the alliance of Fletcher, Ospreay and Mark Davis. More action on the way in Group C, and it was a good wrestling match and a decent reaction from the crowd as the Grizzled Young Veterans pick up another 3 points, defeating Private Party in 10:32 when James Drake pinned Mark Quinn with the ticket to Mayhem. I was unsure if these two would click in terms of styles, but you can see there, pretty decent. A 69, nice, is good stuff, and a 76 here is a very impressive performance from Zach Gibson. We then had a little promo from Adam Copeland, which I was hoping would give us a good promo to kind of save the day, so the main event can hopefully make sure we don't lose too much pop. He just comes out and says, now listen, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. It was fantastic to help out Darby Allin and get the win over the Bucks at Sting's tribute show, but time's not on my side and I've got to take every opportunity that comes my way. It's a dangerous AEW out there, factions galore, but what is next for the Rated R superstar? Who knows? Honestly, at this point, I do not know, but we need to factor them in somewhere. So just in the case of we used them obviously in the Sting tribute show, hadn't done anything with them since, it was probably best we made them say something and actually followed up on it. So 75, which I think leads us into our main event. And it does. So we're going to lose Pop, sadly. But I made a good match up here, and the Kings of the Black Throne defeated FTR in 1959 when Brody King pinned Dax Harwood with the Gonzo Bomb. This was in Group B. The tag champs pick up a good win. I was kind of wishing we get better performances from Dax and Cash. Like, maybe it's just the ring stuff isn't reflected well here, but we're really struggling to get them to higher than a 70 performance. Brody and Malachi were brilliant, and that gave us a 71 overall. So I'd probably say we might teeter to about a 72 here. A 70, sadly. We lose Pop in 15 regions, we do increase 27 globally, so we really need some good shows coming up here, or we're just going to be stagnated at a medium level. But not too many storylines advanced, but that's kind of what you get with Shockwave. But the good thing is, the tournament season should be done pretty shortly. We'll go through the standings in the tag one, you can see there won't be much to go, and then I'll make a decision whether to drop Shockwave and go for there. But we'll finish the show anyway, injury review. Obviously, we'll do that surgery for the butcher after we get to the main screen. We're making $4 million a night now on shows because of the networks. That's all good. I don't think it's too horrible. 75s. If we can get a mega show, we'll be so close to getting to the next level. But I think it's worth pointing out, like, because I'm keeping stuff still storyline related, you're going to have a few shows where you take a bit of a hit, and I don't mind that. Because if I just rush to high and large, then I think it's large and then Titanic, or whatever it is, I can't remember. But, or is it big then large? I can't remember, but hopefully we get there, and we'll be fine. Let's just look. Big is next, that's fine. Oh, it's big then huge than Titanic, so we've got a long way to go, you know what I mean? Because the thing is, like, we can get big pretty quickly. Huge is 71 through Canada and Mexico. We need to improve Mexico, but that's fine. I think we'll get there. Just need to be patient. So if you look then, anything directly affects us, I can see there, Shockwave still got a lot of praise despite what it got. And Paul Ellering has retired, so he has pretty much left the business at that age. The Butcher sidelined, and we know about that, and Kiera Hogan has spoken out on sad trolls that are talking to her. Anything else there? Not really. We have, yeah, that's a nice wee signing. She has returned to the business. She was happy to talk to us. So there you go. I need to figure out where we're going to put her in. Welcome to AEW Rebecca Lynch. Or Becky Lynch. I don't know what I'm going to call her in here. Probably Becca Quinn, I imagine. But one of my favourite women's wrestlers, so it was a no-brainer. As I say, this is not meant to be realistic in any sort of way. Becky Lynch is an alter ego, which would normally be applied, called Rebecca Knox. We'll change it anyway. So you can see here we're in for a few deals. Zachary Wentz has been let go from Impact, so I'm going to try and bring him in for Ring of Honor. Carol Anderson will go back to Ring of Honor. Toru Yano has been on Ring of Honor and will go back to Ring of Honor. Walter is available. We are throwing it as much as money to get him as we can. I feel with a lot of WWE signings, obviously I don't want to be realistic. I just want to sign people that will help the company, but I'm more so going to sign people that maybe have like a history of either being an independent wrestler or someone that's maybe had like an ROH kind of background as well, or international background. Somebody like a Roman Reigns I don't think I'd approach, just because that is like WWE for life, but we'll see. I actually forgot to put the contract in for Becky, but she's back in the business, so yeah, we'll try and get something for her going forward. We went big on Walter, so they've given him 2 year at 96,000. We gave him 3 year at 100. Do you know what? I've missed out on a few, like Carmelo Hayes turned us down. I don't mind even overpaying for Walter if it means we definitely get him. So let's go 105,000 a month. Gunther will no longer exist and Walter will return. Shockwave get nearly 7 million viewers, and Mick Foley says that Bones is a natural talker. That's fine. So the last thing I wanted to cover was obviously, well, two things. Sorry, we'll do the surgery. Oh, Dax Harwood has big morale issues. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Sorry. What was he unhappy with? Just lots of stuff because he's not really been used and obviously dislikes something at Media Scrum. Right, Dax, I'm sorry. Get bonus. You know what? We have plenty of money. Have 100 grand. Screw it. That cheer you up. There you go, he's happy, we're fine. Tony can waste the money in this, it's fine. So why? The two things we're going to check was absences. Brian Cage, obviously high risk, there's no point in doing that, it's just going to make it even worse for him. But we will go with the Butcher. Complete success, and we'll see the Butcher back in 91 days. So he'll be back in August, so that's not the worst in the world. He can still actually do angles. But yeah, the Brian Cage one is... no point in even trying that. Just wouldn't work out well. So into the tournaments we go. So you can see here in the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix, as I mentioned previously, it's just Ryo Mizunami versus Mina Shirakawa to complete that. So your final is going to be Io Shirai versus Jamie Hayter versus... who won the other group? I've already forgot. The winner of that triple threat match, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander. I just done a promo with Chris and I already forgot. And it's the tag team, we've still got Aussie Open to take on the Outrunners. We still have the Lucha Bros to take on the Righteous. So basically they need the Outrunners to pull the shock on Aussie Open, or they'll be advancing to the final. You can see here both teams have got to face the MXM collection. So 3 teams still in with a chance. Mathematic eliminated are the Acclaimed, the Butcher, the Blade, and Parker Menard. The Blade will get his partner next week to do those last 2 matches. And it's all tight in Group C. The Bucks have 9 points, but obviously have only 1 match left against Reynolds and Silver. Private Party have 2 against Reynolds and Silver and the Workhorsemen. The Grizzled Young Vets have got the Guns and the Horsemen as well. So lots to play for in Group C. But that is it. Thank you very much for watching. We are now just 2 weeks away from Double or Nothing. Hopefully join us for the next 2 weeks of our television shows, and I'll see you down the line. So as always, thanks for watching. A thumbs up would be deeply appreciated, and remember to check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit, Grey Dog Software, forums, twdb.com, and bethebooker.net. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye bye.